They'll be calling me royalty.
Hello everyone, welcome Tier 2 round 3 at Britain. We have a very exciting race coming up since we're back at a track that's been pretty much featured on all of IRC's seasons because, well, it is iconic, produces amazing racing, and of course joining me is our amazing streamer SSJ Assassin with an amazing commentator Abhilash or Abhi. Let's not waste too much time. Let's quickly move on to the track map because I do think the lobby is ready. 5.8 kilometers long, almost 5.9 kilometers long, 18 turns, 2 DRS zones, 2 detection zones as well. Loads of elevation change, a lot for the drivers to look out for. Turn 1's going to be tricky on the first lap. But yeah, overall, I think there might be a little bit of a DRS strain. Otherwise, this track is amazing for racing. So, Abby, what are your thoughts? What do you expect from the race? From especially from the Tier 2 guys, from what we have seen last week.
Yeah, so based on my understanding, what I would say is that it's going to be a very exciting race. We've got a sprint and we've got a full race after that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the strategies play out. How do they overtake? Because this is a track where you've got a lot of overtaking opportunities down the Hanger Straight, Woodcut, Luffield. And if you're brave enough, you can even overtake in Cops. But if you're brave enough, that is. But what I feel is that this race is going to definitely have one safety car. There's a 90% chance of it. But if everything does go well, I think we'll see a no interruption race as well. But chances are there of a safety car. Now, my thought, I have a question for you simply. What do you think is going to be the tire strategy in play the race, because in the sprint we know it's going to be a shootout for a soft. What do you think is going to be for the race?
The race, well, there is contrasting strategies that I have seen, not only in the social race, but just, some of the drivers were practicing last night and they were still confused about, the strategy as to what to do, because there are multiple different things you can do depending upon whether there's a safety car or not. Main strategies, people might end up doing a hard medium, some could also go for a medium hard, or if you just want a very aggressive race where you want to be pushing from the beginning to the end, eating up all of your tires, a medium soft is your strategy, or vice versa. So, varying strategies that are there, and genuinely anything can happen going into this race.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. So there's a variety of strategies they can do. And actually, I was talking with a few of the tier 2 drivers yesterday. They seemed really worried about actually going on softs and the fact that they would lose traction, especially through sector 2, where you can lose traction and almost get yourself out of the race. So that they're very worried about. I think we'll see little to no drivers on the soft except for the sprint, because tire degradation is going to be a lot if you push here in Silverstone. It's a historic track, there's a lot of track data, so definitely they know how the cars will work around here. And I feel we're going to get very conventional strategies. Risky strategies are going to be played out, and they'll work only if there's a safety car in the full race, of course.
Yeah, and I don't think we can count out a safety car, to be honest. That is kind of just bound to be there, uh, because of the nature of this track. People are really going to want to try and push. They're really going to want to do whatever that they can to keep their track positions. And of course, in the midst of all of that, you do end up making a few mistakes here and there. All it takes is a small snap of oversteer, and pretty much that will result in a big chain effects if, of course, these guys are going to be close to each other. So it's going to be multiple, drivers just tumbling down the order, and then potentially half the grid could also get taken out. So realistically, anything can happen.
So, if you want to hear my opinion on that, what I've been thinking while you were talking is that you've got a 9 lap sprint ahead. I think some of the drivers will use that 9 lap sprint as data to understand how their soft tires hold up, how much can they push them. If we see drivers are not getting much degradation in the sprint with the soft tire, few of them might go for the gamble in the full race. Even, what do you think about that? Do you think the sprint will be a good data collection point for them?
I think their own practice will be a better data collection point, as long as, and apologies, even with our social race, because everyone wants to try and do the social races to figure out where other people are, what strategies they're doing. So, no, I don't think, sprint will matter to them, because they've already done their data collection in the social race, plus their own, practice.
I think that's absolutely right, simply. And I'm very excited for this race. Let's see how it goes. I mean, you can almost see my smile through the stream, although I'm just talking.
Yeah, certainly. And do believe that we have read it up. One thing we haven't talked about, Abby, is the fact that there's a quite a high chance of rain over here at Silverstone. Maybe the qualifying could be dry, but then the race just has a much higher chance of raining. I believe the odds are around 2 and 3. So at least inters is something that we could expect in the race coming up.
I think that's very much possible. The land of Britain is known for its rainy spikes out of nowhere, so I cannot rule out the possibility of rain. Just as you said, Inter's definitely a possibility, and it makes for an even more interesting race. There's a lot of things that can come up. We have seen how a wet race plays out in Silverstone. For those who have seen a Silverstone wet race, I recommend you do see Silverstone 2008. Amazing race there. And with the chance of rain today, I think we'll get a scintillating bunch of action today. What do you think, Simply?
Yeah, well, every time we have had a race in the past couple of seasons, regardless of what year it was, there has been some amounts of rain. So I think that will play a very, very big factor in what's about to happen. Of course, we have one shot qualifying going, so we can't exactly tell who is going to be leading and who is not. But for now, it looks like as an ABD, Jose, and BK, maybe even Vicious, are just swapping positions for that P1. Satvik just constantly staying between P5 and P6, just as I see that moves up quite a few positions. Clearly has gotten a much better exit. Wizard of Oz leads away the pack for now. And yeah, they're looking so far so good. No retirements. And yes, Satvik has momentarily taken away the pole here. APD right behind him. Fury up into P3. So clearly the OST is doing quite well.
I think we're seeing a very familiar person at the front of the grid, Satvik Reddy, from last week. He's very consistent with his performance. Let's see him going down here right now. He's going to go into Maggots and Beckets. Let's see how he takes that. It's a fairly good amount of control he's got over there. It's really easy to lose grip here, and he seems very calm and concentrated. Now he's finally down the hanger straight. Stowe is coming upon him. Let's see how it goes.
Oh,
We've got retirement.
that is the Ferrari of Aces Scoop. He has retired from this session. Satvik Reddy coming into the final couple of corners. All he has to do is keep it clean, and he will be snatching away pole here unless Jose can do something about it. Clearly not. Satvik Reddy comes across the lane, snatches away pole by around a tenth. Jose Hero in P2, BK19 in P3, Vicious P4, and Fury up into P5. This has changed quite a lot of things. Oh, a lot of drivers without valid laps. They have all invalidated at some point. That has, of course, boosted a few drivers above than what realistically should have been. But this has a lot of things changed because BK19 and Satyak Reddy in the top 3, a madness could happen here.
We've got a lot to look forward to just in the sprint, absolutely. Wizard of Oz starting all the way back in 13th, not something that I quite expected, but Satvik Reddy showing his consistency and Alfa Romeo performing very well in the World Constructors Championship. That's actually good, and how this will play out. So far, they've been fairly consistent all the way from Australia till now. And let's see how Silverstone goes for them. And we've got Jose Hero, who's on the front row alongside Satvik Reddy, and we know him for his amazing racecraft and skills. So it's definitely going to be a sprint as well as a race down to the wire.
Yep, 9 laps straight up action. There is, yeah, I mean, a lot of action coming, I'm pretty sure, in the sprint. They're all going to be on softs, and I guess. Oh, okay, cloudy. I thought momentarily that there might have been rain, but no, it's cloudy. Hey, but this just means that perhaps there might be rain towards the end of the sprint race, although I don't think that would matter much. Although that would shake things up, to be fair. Going from a 9-lap short race, which you'd expect to go on until the end without any stoppages, if there happens to be rain, and because of that, if you have to stop, that will shake things up for sure, and then that will completely change the grid order for the main race where you score the most amount of points, of course.
It could turn the entire grid on its head upside down. That would be amazing to see, absolutely. But I think in the 9 lap sprint, supposedly towards the fag end of the sprint, let's say the rain does tear upon the drivers. I think they will try and weather it out. But you are not wrong in the chance that they may take the gamble to pit for inters or for wets. So it depends. I think it'll be inters. Let's look at the British weather and see what it brings upon our drivers. Very unpredictable.
Yep, we'll just have to see as the race plays out. And if anyone's wondering, the standard points for a sprint race, which is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, so top 8 getting points, that is what applies here. No point for fastest lap, as this is technically qualifying as well. Even though it's a race, it's also qualifying.
So waiting now. Let's see. What do you think will happen in the sprint? Let's say it's a completely dry race, although we are looking upon the rain gods beckoning us. Do you think that Joe's hero? Okay, we've got the light starting.
5 red lights. And lights out and away we go. Great start by Miss, getting away fairly quickly here. And that is Satvik and Jose here going side by side, going into turn 1. Satvik having to give away that position to Jose. And even Vicious wants to take a bite out of that as he gets past Satvik. Not off to a great start, are we, Satvik? Some drivers are on mediums, which makes no sense in this cloudy race because the soft tires will definitely go to the end. But Vicious here having to settle for P2 for that. Satvik being the biggest loser so far. BK19 in P4. Vettel Bihari Vajpayee has not spun. It is his teammate Parth who has spun. Unfortunately, Aishwarya Raikkonen could not make it, busy with her his stuff. And we can see BK19 and Satvik getting very close there. Raji Baji, but luckily no severe collisions. But a lot of cars fighting for that P3. Abdi getting involved in that, moving up into P3. But Satvik, of course, not going to give up. Not ready yet. Going side by side, going into Beckett and Beckett.
It's
Almost 3 wide. And that is contact. That is BK19 has been spun around and he's gone back down to the field. And he will be plumb last as he rejoins with damage as well there. Not an ideal start for him.
Absolutely. While all that was going on, I'm looking at the drivers, and we've got 2 Williams on the mediums. So we've got a little bit of action down with, and now they're gonna turn through club as we on board with the Mercedes of ABD, and the Alpine has spun off LFA. He's all the way back down. We've got an AlphaTauri in the barrier, just Wizard of Oz. He is out right now, and he has DNF. He's going to start at the back of the grid in the race. Path last. We've got Titan. We've got drivers pitting in the pit box. And we've got a virtual safety car right now. Virtual safety car, so everyone's going to slow down. We've got BK19 inside with a front wing change. I assume he's not going to get any wing angle change there. Might just take a little bit of a gamble there. But right now, let's look at the starting order. Was a hero up into first, Vicious into second, Satvik carry down 2 places from pole into third place. The biggest gainer here has been the Williams. Steel She's 94, 11 places up. Satvik Reddy has got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. This race, it started from pole, is now becoming absolutely horrifying for him. Can he recover from this in such a short period of time? I think this might just leave him towards the back end of the grid for the race that's coming up. And now we're looking through action, through Maggots and Beckets. We're on board now with 407. He's got Vicious on his tail, but he is building a gap through Vicious all the way. He's now about 2.5 tenths up from Vicious ahead. He's going through the final turn there. Can Vicious try and make a move here? Now we're watching on board ABD, who's just behind Yashib Guru. No chance for a move right there, but he's got 3 cars on his tail, and Aston Martin, a Williams, and a Red Bull as well. Race control has enabled DRS. So for now, there has been a lot of change in just the first 3 laps of the sprint. It's been incredibly exciting, don't you think so?
Yeah, and that is Satvik Reddy serving his drive-through, as you mentioned, and he is obviously going to come out far behind. Okay, not as far as where BK19 Titan because the pit, which in my opinion was not the best of their decisions because they've used up their tires from the race allocation, the main race allocation, which is going to put them on a very big backhand here. And that is right up ahead. APD and Fury, we can see RG Baji through there, touching tires with each other, not giving each other enough space. Fury having to back off, gets a bad exit, and that is Steel's Knees who makes a great move out of that whole section there. And oh, that is Steel's Knees also going for a move on APD and almost has. Oh my god, there is contact. I was about to say that there is no contact there and almost did a Verstappen and Hamilton, and clearly they could not just resist themselves from doing that. Both of them will be looked at by the stewards after this. Vicious flying past Jose Hero, going up into P1, taking away the lead from him. Nirvana getting past Fury as well, and next up is his teammate Big B, who's also going to try and make a move there. And clearly there's an end plate missing on Fury's car, so I think it'd be in his best. Oh my god, collision between teammates. Nirvana gets collected up and so does Ace Scoop. Can E-Dog get past all of this mess without being collected? I do not know. And there's a safety car in the sprint race, guys. Come on.
Well, The leading drivers will definitely not be happy about a safety car, but you know who will? The guys who are plumb last. Like, I can take an example here. He served his drive-through penalty, the AlphaTauri, sorry, not the AlphaTauri, but Satvik Reddy, who served his drive-through penalty, will be happy as the grid will certainly bunch up. And a couple of cars have to pit because they've got either end plates missing or front wings missing, and they certainly can't race with that. So, of course, Satvik Reddy will be one of the beneficiaries here. And while all this was happening, both the McLarens of Titan and Mr. Singh are now plumb last. And the team of Aston Martin is shaking their heads in the garage probably, because what have happened to both their cars? One of them has an end plate missing, one of them has an entire front wing missing. But Vicious is back into the lead after a fantastic move down the final straight they have. So we've got a full safety car.
Yeah, Vicious up in a great position as you mentioned, but I mean, that was a lot of chaos, a lot of adrenaline for sure. One big issue obviously being that, of course, the Aston Martin guys had contact between each other, but then they also ended up picking drivers with them. Nirvana, I think, might have picked up some damage because of that collision. There was the Ferrari of Aces Coupe also who got collected in that mess. And I think E-Dog may or may not have contact there. He looked clean from what the cameras that were being shown, but I think he might have been fine. But yeah, okay, Fury 5 seconds for severe collision with Big B. But I'm gonna assume that all of these drives are pulling off into the pits. Yeah, I mean, it is just not an ideal race for these guys, especially the Aston Martin boys here, and they just are going to pit, use up their tire from the main race allocation. Hopefully no one goes on to the mediums, because that is a crucial tire in their strategy. And of course Fury gets helped up by Big B. Can we look at the tires really quickly, what tires the driver's going on to? Thanks. So Big B is on mediums, so he's used up the mediums from his main race tire allocation, so that is gone. He's only left with hards and I believe a set of softs. What will Fury do? I think he's going on to another set of softs, so he should realistically be fine with a hard medium strategy. But yeah, Big B has kind of shot himself in the foot there.
I think those who will be pitting in the sprint race, they'll be hoping that tomorrow, that the main race is wet in some or the other sense, because that's an inter or a wet race for them. So they're not really hurting themselves there. But if it's a spec dry race, my God, they're going to be under, because they have used up a bit of the tire allocation. And one important thing we've noticed, Steel Sneeze, who was in the Williams, who we're on board with right now, started in the medium and has now switched to the soft. So his medium was not used for more than 2 or 3 laps, so that's still good enough for tomorrow's race. But Yashiv Kuru started on the medium and he's now up into third. The first two are still the same, they've just been switched around. ABD is up into 4th place, and E-Dog and Steel Sneeze up 12 places each. The biggest loss from this is Aston Martin's Fury, down 14 places, BK19 down 10 places, and our pole sitter Satvik Reddy, who's down 11 places in 12th. But will the safety car come in this lap and give us a little bit more racing action, as we're now on board with our leading car, which is just behind the Mercedes AMG CrowdStrike safety car. The safety cars not coming in this lap, as we can see, as they make their way down the Hamilton Straight, as it's known right now. I feel the safety car restart will be interesting to watch, although the tire degradation is not much, because the tire difference is not going to be much. But it's going to be interesting to see how risky moves they make. Fury, as we're on board right now, plumb last, 12 seconds behind LFA. But the rest of the grid, all the way from 1st through 18th, is very close to each other. Actually, they're quite bunched up, if I say. Fury has got to cover a lot of ground within this time if he decides that he wants to get at least a couple of positions up. Because remember, this is where you're going to start your race to the main race. So grid position is important. Yeah, and Fury is bunched up right now within a second of LFA in the Alpine. So quite close to the grid. The entire grid is very cohesive right now. And honestly, I can't predict what's going to happen, what's going to be the date for tomorrow. Or rather, next race.
Yeah, I think that would have put the views off a little bit by saying tomorrow. Don't worry, guys. There's nothing happening tomorrow. Nobody has time for any of this as well tomorrow since it's a weekday. It's gonna be the race right after this, so all bunched up and all packed within the same 1.5, 1 hour 45 minutes. Do not worry. But yeah, that is certainly the case, and I think the safety car might be going in. As I say that the safety car is going in, so we will be keeping an eye out for these drivers. Let's quickly go back to the tire graphic as well, so we can look at the tires. We can see Gear Shift Guru on mediums, and Big B the only other driver on mediums. All of the majority of the grid is on softs still, and of course they haven't had to pit, whereas of course a few drivers have had to pit, and they're obviously you can look at them and see who has like less than 5 laps on their tires. Just waiting on Vicious to go at any point. There's a decent gap separating them. It makes no sense to go just about now, or he can go now as well. We have restarted the sprint race with Vicious going away right before the final corner. I mean, if he wanted to cause some chaos, he could have gone after the final corner. But hey, it is up to him to reset, and so he has. Jose Hero 1.2 seconds behind Vicious, whereas Gear Shift Guru is only 2 tenths behind Jose Hero. So it is going to be okay, not going to be a send there from Gear Shift, but he is certainly putting on some pressure as we can see Satvik Reddy going down the inside of Miss. Miss trying to do a switch back. Satvik Reddy, of course, back with the great defense. He does not give away to Miss, of course, while doing all of this legally. A small yellow flag somewhere in sector 1, not sure where. Gear Shift Guru and Jose. Gear Shift on the inside. Great pass by him. Going from the outside then to the inside, and of course staying ahead. Next up will be Vicious. Question is, will he have enough time to get past them? That we will have to see. As we can see, the pack is bunching up right ahead. We can see Avery and Jose Hero right behind each other. E-Dog and Nirvana on each other's tail. And so are Satvik Reddy and Par. Satvik Reddy down the inside of Cops. Great move by him. Clearly on the charge. Steez! Huge collision is into the wall, and so is E-Dog. What has happened here? Caution, yellow flag in sector 2 and sector 3. There will not be a safety car because it is just too late in the race for the safety car to come out. And yeah, that is an unfortunate end to them. Satvik Reddy picking up another driver with the same lap, moves up into P7. Oh, that is big, and
They've got a Red Bull.
And he's retired. Clearly, that corner cashing out quite a few drivers, though not being clearly a best friend to them.
Absolutely. We've got 3 drivers out after the safety car restart, and we've got the Mercedes in 3rd and 4th. Jose Hero has lost his 2nd place to Gear Shift Guru, but Vicious is now under attack from the Williams. As they go down the straight here, can they make a move? DRS is not enabled. Will he dive down? He's got mediums. It's mediums against soft. A fresher medium versus a 5-lap old soft. What can he do? My apologies, not a fresher medium, because the medium he started from, but he is bound to get more grip. He's got more grip to last over and we've got a little bit of contact between the Ferrari and the McLaren of Mist and Titan there. Titan losing out around 2 positions there, and Gear Shift Guru is into the lead of the race. He is overtook there. Very brave overtake. Now he's got to hold on to it for 1 more lap as we go on. Now we're on the 8th lap. 1 more lap left. Vicious is on his back. 1 more lap. Can we get DRS enabled? I think it's going to be 2 laps since the safety car has ended at the end of this lap. So I think we will get DRS. But Vicious is trying to make it as close as possible. He's within a second. He's at 5 tenths away. And we've got an overtake there on Nirvana. Satvik Reddy. Great damage imitation. A little bit of contact between the Alpine and the Aston Martin. DRS has been enabled. It's going to be really interesting to look how Vicious and Gear Shift Guru fight it out. As we're now on board Mist in the Ferrari. Vicious about 7 tenths away from Gear Shift Guru. Can he close down and take the race win here? But he's also got Jose 07 behind him and on his gearbox almost. And he's going to get DRS as well. Vicious is 9 tenths behind Gear Shift Guru. Jose is 6 tenths behind. This is going to be interesting all the way down. Vicious has come down by about 2 tenths closer to Gear Shift Guru, and we're on board the Haas. I think there was a little bit of contact there, if I'm not wrong. Caution Sector 1. I believe a car has gone off, and yes, it's Mr. Singh in 16th in the McLaren. He has gone off and he has spun. Right now, we're on board with the Aston Martin. Satvik Reddy. Is he going to be able to make that place? No, it is Nirvana up in the 6th place. But Satvik Reddy will be looking to start a little bit higher. He is currently 7th. Can he make a move down the final Wellington straight? Vicious 8 tenths, 7 tenths away from the race win. Can he make this move? He's got DRS wide open. And by the looks of it, that is not Vicious. My apologies, viewers. That's Satvik Reddy. Make an amazing move down the Wellington Straight. And Vicious will take front row for tomorrow's race. The Mercedes are going to be starting on the second row. Atal Bihari Vajpayee starts 5th. Satvik Reddy, great damage limitation from him, starts 6th. Nirvana in the Red Bull was overtaken last in the Wellington Straight. We've got the Aston Martins in 8th and 9th. Ferrari of Ace Group in 10th. Whipple in 11th. LFA in 12th. Titan in 13th, Path in 14th, Mr. in 15th, and Mr. Singh in 16th. And we've got 4 cars who were out in the sprint race. But that was absolutely thrilling, and I love the sprint race. Now, all that remains is the main race. And I apologize to the viewers for saying it's tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not tomorrow. Also, I'm not sure if you're noticing this right now or not, but the rain did come. It just came while the race was finished. It started pouring, like you can see the rain droplets in the background just briefly, that it started to rain after the race is done. So that's a little bit of a unfortunate situation, because we would like to see the rain in the race. Perhaps we can see more rain in the main race that will be coming up, because that is 26 laps. So of course, a lot more chance for things to happen. Yeah, a lot of people are actually appraising Satvik in the chat, saying it is a tactical move, and I mean, he did make a lot of moves, to be fair, up into P6. He just has to look for getting a good start for the coming up main race, and he just has to make sure that he survives and doesn't get into any collisions. Beyond that, I think he has a great chance of fighting up for the podium. I mean, he's not too far away from it either. Obviously, you have your usual suspects of ABD, Jose Hero. Of course, an unusual suspect is there, which is Yashif Guru, also known as Saeed. So, yeah, a lot of unexpected things have happened so far in the sprint race, and with 26 laps coming up ahead of us, I think there will be even more things that could go possibly wrong or possibly right, any which way. That we'll just have to see as the race will begin in a short time.
Absolutely. And I really like the way the drivers, despite losing out, let's take an example of Satvik Reddy. As you said, he made up a lot of places, and he's got amazing racecraft. Even if you look back to Baku, he lost a couple of places but made it up all the way to the top. And I think it could be just another road to redemption for Satvik Reddy this weekend. What do you think, Simply?
Hey, I mean, if he can pull it off, absolutely. I do not doubt that guy's abilities. I have absolutely no doubts in what he can do. It just all comes down to his luck and his decision making, which have proven to be a little bit on the iffy side. So if he can keep those under control, then well and good. I think he has a solid chance of winning here. Hopefully, no commentators curse.
Yeah, we just need to give him the benefit, or rather leave him out of the commentators, because that's gone quite wrong in Baku, as we've seen in both qualifying and the race. So let's hope none of that happens. We want our drivers to have an amazing race, and of course our viewers to enjoy it. And as I'm looking out at Silverstone right now, I don't see a speck of rain on the horizon, but this is England and anything can happen. So let's hope the race does get exciting. It's 26 laps, plenty of time for anything to happen. and I'm sure we'll have an extremely eventful race. 9 laps got our heart racing. What will 26 laps do?
Right then, I believe the ready up message has gone out in the driver's chat, so we should be seeing a ready up fairly shortly here. Drivers, of course, will be preparing the strategies, getting their mind focused. If they had a bad race in the sprint race, changing their focuses back and getting rid of all the emotions again is a bit of a hard work. All right then, 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Gearshift Gur off to a decent start there. We can see already BK19 going off into the wall and retiring. Will there be a safety car? Yes, there is safety car before we could even go into turn 1. That was, well, we had no chance of anything major happening. Gearshift Guru did actually move down into P2, so Vicious got that move away before. Oh! Vicious getting a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That is a very, very bad situation for him. Can we have a quick look at the tires as well while we're at it? I want to see what tires everyone's on. Okay, he is on the medium, so it's not the end of the race for him, but it is not an ideal situation for him because as soon as the safety car goes out, he has a lap at max to go around and then serve the drive-through penalty, which will pretty much result in him going all the way far last. So that's his race pretty much ruined, and he just has to hope for a miracle to happen for him to come back up. Meanwhile, of course, the race will be left up to Gearshift Guru, Jose Hero, ABD, Satvik, Vatal Bihari Vajpayee as well, who's been there, and Fury, who's also shown a little bit of consistent pace here and there. So for now, consider everyone behind Vicious provisionally a position above what they actually are, obviously because of his drive-through. But yeah, that is just not what Vicious wanted, especially when he didn't have the best of weekends in Australia. So he has a lot of catching up to do in terms of time.
Absolutely, I think you're right there. And Vicious will be hoping the safety car goes for longer than what it's supposed to go, because that's how much time he can bide on his mediums, and the more the safety car goes, the less the time he has to spend. I'm assuming he will be pitting onto a hard compound tire. So that's what I think, unless he decides to go for a gamble on the soft, but that would become a two-stopper, and I don't think he would be able to make that all the way to the end. What's very interesting here, most of the grid has gone for a hard tire to start with. The only soft tire starters, we've got a pit from the McLaren of Mr. Singh. He's going to be going onto the medium tire. I wonder what he thinks about that. Oh, he's got a front wing loss as well. So that's why the pit. And we've got an Aston Martin of the track of Big B. So a little bit of movement around there.
Okay, that was interesting from Big B. Unless Whipple got a message which was telling him to keep that position away, that was a little bit dodgy because he was off the track and he was going slow. But seeing that none of them have gotten a penalty, I think that situation sorted. But yeah, Big B dropping down a few positions because of a small mistake, but then he at least managed to get one back. So I guess not the end of the world for him. Anyways,
I don't think.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, absolutely. Really sorry there. So I don't think there have been any big gainers from this. If we can have a look at the position gain telemetry for the race, it would be great to see if anyone has made a particular jump. I don't think there have been any huge jumps as such. If we can look at the positions gained for the race, we're now looking at the tires currently. So by the looks of it, the biggest position gain we've got is from LF8, Titan and Path, each having gained 3 position, and Steel Sneeze as well, up 3 places. Gearshift Guru down from pole, just 1 position, but at the safety car restart, he's essentially going to be leading the pack because Vicious has to go for his drive-through penalty. The safety car still not in this lap. Vicious is just hoping that lap after lap after lap, safety car keeps going at least for 2 more laps, so that he can bide his time and get a little less of time management work on the hard tire. And the Mercedes are still in 3rd and 4th, fairly good from their end. But we've got a little bit of movement down the midfield as well. Wizard of Oz coming up 3 places, Big B into the pits. Is that another pit stop I see? Because no, that's not another pit stop. Big B has been pitting, and I believe that's for tires. Unless he's got some damage to his front wing, which I don't think has happened.
I am not sure. I think we can go and check. But now it's too late. He's literally on the pit exit. So maybe a tire change with, try and pull off some sort of a strategy, or maybe it's just a wing change, whatever it may be. I would disagree with you on one thing. I don't think Vicious wants this to go on forever, because that just means he has lesser laps to recover from that drive-through. Because he's going to be 30 seconds behind everyone else. And the longer this goes on for, the harder it will be for him to recover those 30 seconds. So it is definitely proving to be a long day for Vicious the longer the safety car goes on. Although luckily Big B has caught up, although on softs, which is I don't know. I'm not sure if that strategy would work, and they don't look quite fresh either. They look like they have been put through a bit of wear and tear, but okay, fine. That's his strategy. Let's see how that will work out for him. Safety car will be going in this lap. Vicious will be leading the pack, but of course he's going to be trying and getting as much of a gap as he possibly can on the cars behind. If all things go well, maybe he can pull off a 2-second gap, catching Gearshift Guru off guard. And yeah, at the end of the day, those 2 seconds will help him, because he'll have those 2 seconds lesser to catch up. So all of this is a bit interesting for sure. And now okay, one disconnected car there of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. I think his electricity might have gone out, considering he's not joined back. All eyes on Vicious and Gearshift Guru then, as Vicious will be looking to go at any point, anytime soon. And by the looks of it, he has restarted the race with a drive-through already. The gap is up to a second. Of course, thanks to him being the leader, his tires will be slightly hotter compared to the other guys. But Gearshift Guru is not letting that by. He's already closed down the gap by around 1.5-2 tenths, and he's just trying to close out on that gap and give Vicious as big of a disadvantage as he possibly can. Titan and Path swapping positions there. Satvik ready on the charge with Vettel Bihari. Okay, never mind. That was Nirvana who's getting swallowed up there. Path with a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags possibly will be removed with the stewards. Unless he does serve it, which he might actually have to, so that's a long race for him. Satvik ready, getting past APD, going down the inside. Great move by him. His focus is now will be shifting onto Jose Hero, and that is completely opposite for his teammate, who has fallen back down to last. So it has Wizard of Oz. Maybe there was a chance that these guys would have collided with each other because of how close they were. I mean, they were literally at the same corner, maybe a few meters away from each other. Nirvan LFA going side by side. LFA makes the move stick, has the rear loose, and that just gives Nirvana the option to stick close to him and then try and make a move as he can, coming up into the straight over here, the hanger straight, I believe it is called. Although Nirvana does have the hearts, he's on a bit of an advantage, but he has the slipstream, he has the ERS, has a look down the inside, and that is a bit dodgy. Although he's still keeping it on the inside. LFA is being helped by his great attraction. Although Nirvana has made the move, LFA sends it down the inside there, keeps the move, slowing Nirvana down as well, and that is sound side-by-side action.
Absolutely, and Gearshift Guru was just keeping it very close to that lap. Within a second, he was about 8 tenths as the car in the lead has to pit. And Ace Cooper has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We're on board with Nirvana now, who's on the back of LFA. We are watching currently Vicious, who was in the lead, who's coming out behind his teammate in 18th position. He's on the medium compound now. Surprise, he's going on the medium. Will he be able to manage those tires for long? But thankfully, his teammate is just about a second ahead of him. So it will not be much work to catch up, at least to 10th. But up ahead from there, it will be a tough fight. And we're looking at the Williams of Steel Sneeze alongside Titan for a battle of 10th place. And the Williams has made it ahead. Path 11 has to serve his 5-second penalty. Will he pit it? pit and serve it, or will he take
Oh.
the win of the race? We've got a crash. We've got a crash. Titan is out of the race. He's been caught out at Cops. I believe that is Cops Corner. Yes, he's been caught out at Cops Corner. And that corner is truly catching people out. We just saw an Alpine lose the rear after making an overtake there. And we've got a full safety car again, which benefits our leader Vicious, because he's already served his drive-through penalty. And now the grid is going to bunch up for him as well. Satvik Reddy, one of the biggest gainers, he's up into second place, and he's going to get bunched up behind Koushik Tummala as safety car comes out. We're currently on board Josehiro, who's into the pits right now. He's going to be going on to the hard compound tire. I think that's a smart decision from his end. As we watch Fury up into fourth, right now we're with Big B, who's coming into the pits. He had just pitted for softs earlier. I believe this will be a pit for hard tires. But so far, the grid has changed quite a bit. And the top three have 2 cars in the mediums and 1 car on the hards. So 2 different strategies running. But Vicious, if I think I'm right, he will be smiling because it's a safety car, and he's oh, we've got an Alpine losing an end plate there. I believe that is LFA. So he will have to pit, I believe, for a new front wing that is going.
Oh,
okay, he's lost his entire front wing. Was that a brake test from Fury? What do you think? 5-second penalty for LFA with a collision to Fury. So I think he went on the a little bit too excitedly and lost his front wing there. What do you think?
Yeah, that was very awkward there, Abhi. I mean, I don't know what he was expecting. I mean, you guys are not the safety cars. You should be following at least, a couple car lengths between each other. You don't have to stick to each other's back. But I don't know what that was about. I mean, he broke his front wing. I don't know what he was trying to achieve. I'm completely baffled, to be honest.
Absolutely there. See the cars just on the straight, as I hang the straight. And we have got LFA, who has a penalty, Path 11 has a penalty, and Ace Scoop has a 5-second penalty. So 3 cars with 5-second penalties. Interesting to see which compounds will they go on to, because I believe 1 or 2 of these cars have had penalties in the sprint as well. So they've got less tires as it is, as we watch the Alpine of LFA right now going into the pits. Going to be an absolutely long pit stop for him. One of the longest pit straights here in the Formula 1 calendar. Correct me if I'm wrong. One of the longest pit lanes in the calendar. And now we're watching Satvik Reddy, who's up into first place. He is going to be beaming. He is back into where he started the sprint from, and he's very happy because this is the race where he gets maximum points. This is what matters for him. I can see his smile from the car, I believe, despite the helmet being in the way.
Yeah, he's absolutely delighted because he knows things are going his way. Starting from P6, has moved up into P1. Yeah, I think I can also see the smile coming from his helmet, man. He is going to be delighted because he knows Gear Shift Guru, Fury, as well as ABD, those guys are just going to end up battling each other because they are quite close to each other in terms of pace, at least so far what we have seen. So, yeah, I think his goal will be to just distract the drivers, go and just catch them off guard, build up that gap, keep building up on that gap, and then when the pit stops do come around, he pretty much be ahead. I mean, it is all in Satvik's favor right now. Touch wood, nothing goes wrong because the commentator's curse, as you do remember last week as well as the week before, was in full play.
Absolutely. And what I'm really looking forward to is the fight between ABD and Satvik. They're 2 amazing, great racers, lot of potential, great racecraft and defending abilities as well. ABD a little bit more aggressive while racing extremely well. And safety car will be coming in this lap, ladies and gentlemen. So the cars will be just about getting their tires up to temperature. I'm really excited to see what ABD does on the restart. He's also got Gear Shift Guru right on the back of him. And Josehiro as well, the other Mercedes, who's in 13th place. Very excited to see what he does all the way from back there. They were in good contention earlier, but now let's see where does he take it out all the way. I believe, and he's on to racing bar right now. ABD on the back of him. Can he make an overtake stick into the first turn? Close, but not close enough to make an overtake stick. 2 laps until we get DRS enabled, but he's very close as they go down the turn, but not taking the risk at all. Almost touching there as they go down the straight here, and he has made that overtake stick, I believe. No, they're still side by side, Patrick Reddy and ABD28. Let's see how this turns out. Can they make it work? And yes, ABD is into the lead of the race. Patrick Reddy down to second. He will be trying to make a redemption through Cops, which is the next overtaking opportunity he's got. And he's got a good slipstream there. Will he be able to make it stick? As they go side by side, and there's a little bit of contact there between both drivers. I don't think there's any damage to either driver looking by it, but that was a strong banging of wheel from two of them fighting for the lead as we go on board. The Williams of Gearshift Guru, who's just behind them and thanking he wasn't in that tussle.
Yeah, I mean, he would have definitely been caught off there, and he's just lucky to keep his nose clean. And he's also lucky that he can get the opportunity to make a move, moving up into P2. That was amazing stuff from him. And I think we've officially cursed Satvik Reddy here because we complimented him so much. And now look at him, he's struggling to get by positions. Steelsney struggling to keep his car on track clearly as Parth gets away with the P6. And Steelsney barely could put the traction down. Meanwhile, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who I think is still disconnected because he has electricity issues, he's just maintaining his position fairly well in P8. Whereas we can see ABD struggling clearly with Gearshift Guru, only about 3/10 away from ABD, has the potential of making a move here. They're both using up their ERS to try and stay ahead. Gearshift, although has the slipstream, so that's an extra KPH. Ooh, there is some contact there. Gearshift having to be pushed off the track there, has to pick up grass, locks up his tires, and of course cannot make the move there. That was a bit dodgy. Oh, and clearly that is still into effect as he loses his car. Great save by him. But can APD keep his P1? For how long can he keep his P1? Because it's not just Gearshift Guru who's getting involved. There is Satvik Reddy, there's Fury, there's Nirvana, there's Parth, and Steel Sneeze all playing it out for that P1 position here, all within 1.5 seconds totally. And this has put a lot of pressure on ABD. There's yellow flags, but the car is moving, so there'll be green flags soon. That is Gearshift Guru on the outside of ABD. ABD has the inside lane. Never mind, ABD is behind Gearshift Guru. Now, next up is Satvik Reddy, who's also pushing and giving it his best, who's back up into P3. Question is, what can he do? Nirvana moves up into P4, and Fury having a slight lockup there. Steel Sneeze and Parth following quite closely with this track. DRS gets enabled, Satvik Reddy right behind ABD, and ABD clearly is just getting swallowed. ABD trying to do whatever he can, but people are just overtaking him left, right, and center. He has a great switchback line. They're both going side by side, going into the first couple of corners here, this slow section in Sector 1. But Satvik Reddy keeps it ahead. Atal Bihari Vajpayee is retired. Ace Scoop is in the wall there, and that is a safety car. And I think the best bet now would be to pit for everyone. Go on to either mediums or hards and then just make it to the end of the race.
The thing is, I don't think the drivers have enough tires or enough fresh tires to pit on, and that would actually give them a benefit as such as we go on board Ace Scoop, who has put it into the wall and lost his front wing there. I believe we've seen a lot of action. One thing we've missed, Vicious is up into 11th place, so don't count him out of getting a top 5 result. He's an amazing driver, a lot of pace within that AlphaTauri of his. And not to mention, AlphaTauri is currently 3rd in the constructors standings with 25 points. If they bring together a top 5 result or at least top 8 result for both the cars, given if Joe's Hero does not improve much, they could get close to Mercedes in the standings and possibly even overtake them. But that's going to take a miracle if they want to overtake them. So right now, the top 3 as it stands, Gearshift Guru in the Williams, Satvik Reddy in 2nd place, and ABD in 3rd. ABD He's now going to be
Oh.
thinking, okay, the
What was
Haas
that?
of Path has put it into the rear of the Williams, I believe, and that's a 10-second penalty for him. And the top three have got 5-second penalties each.
What?
So I believe race control has punished all of them equally. I would have to see what's that for.
I mean, it all happened. I think some of them sped into the pit lane, some of them had a collision. What even happened? It all happened so quickly. Some drivers are getting held up. Atal Bihari Vajpayee has joined the lobby back, I guess, to engineer his teammate. But yeah, that is. I mean, I'm once again out of words here, Abby, because that is not something you see on a regular basis where all of the leaders pitting together pick up a 5 second time penalty, and then right behind them you see a car hitting a car in front and picking up a 5 second penalty on top of that as well. So this is just a race that's completely turned out to be out of ordinary. And if anything, I'm pretty sure the viewers are loving to see this, because this is just some stuff that you never really, see on any other track.
Absolutely right. And Vicious is in the lead. Mr. Singh is in second. LFA, who lost his front wing through this race, is up into third. The top three are quite surprised. Like, how are we in the podium places? Weren't we at a point almost out of this race? Still be thinking, but hopefully they'll be happy. I'll not say much more because commentators' curse seems to be very effective this race, as it has been for the last three.
As a lot of drivers would say, as a lot of, fans rather would say, stop the count whenever their driver is leading. Like, let me take you back to 2021 Hungary, where George Russell was momentarily leading. Everyone was just tweeting out and voicing their opinion, saying, stop the count, stop the race here. This is all that matters, So I'm pretty sure people who are fans of Mr. Singh, Elephant Wishes, they're all like, stop the count, do not go on forward. Just count this result, because Wishes gets the win. Mr. Singh in P2, which hasn't happened in a long while, and of course LFA in P3 would be the most unusual podium that we've had so far.
And Mr. Singh in P2 would actually help the team as well, because McLaren are almost last. They've got no points this season, so it would really help them actually bring them above Williams in the standings, if my mathematics is correct, or rather actually Haas and Red Bull Racing, they'll be above them. So P4 in the standings for McLaren, if this is where the count is stopped, if the viewers believe it to be so. Safety car still continuing on this lap. The top three earlier who were leading, Satvik Reddy, Keshav Guru and ABD, still have their penalties of 5 seconds. Was there a little bit of contact between these two? And I believe that was an Alpine, if I'm not wrong. No, that was not an Alpine.
I think he has failed
Because he is 1 minute 55 seconds behind. So yes, that certainly was an Alpine looking at the standing.
Let me add something to that, by the way. He's 1 minute 55 seconds behind the car ahead of him. Not the leader, the car ahead of him. That being Path, who's in P16. So he is a lap down on everyone at this point. So he is the most lapped car, I guess.
Absolutely correct. He's now even slower, 2 minutes 3 seconds down. He might as well be 2 laps behind the next car, not even the leaders, as we see intervals currently. Path 11 still has a remaining penalty to serve. Is that a car? Mr. Singh, what has happened to Mr. Singh? If we can have a look, is he into the wall? Is he pitting? Because he's just gone down to 16th. It's very surprising if we can get the onboard of Mr. Singh, and safety car will be coming in this lap. I'm wondering what happened to Mr. Singh there.
And I
All the
also
way
wonder
from
what's
second.
happened to ABD, because he's lost an end plate on his front right. and that will be causing him to lose a bit of downforce there, adding a little bit of tire wear. Essentially, at the end of the day, not helping his situation considering he just pitted for mediums. So he has to pit again, serve those 5 seconds. He'll essentially be dead last. Vicious has restarted in the same place for the second time, and he has not caught LFA too far off guard. LFA should have stuck a little bit closer, but he has also reacted quite well. So the gap is only half a second. LFA will be getting the slipstream. So that is a battle that will be coming up well within this lap here. Whereas we can see Aces Coop, who's almost 3 minutes down on the cars ahead of him. Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I don't know what's happened there. I think he's just gone stuck in a wrong position, and I think Steel's Sneeze was also in the wrong position as he has to let Fury by, and he has to settle down for P11. Although he gets a great switchback, moves up back into P10, but Fury not willing to give up that dirty, really dirty Aston Martin that you can see has dirt and grass all over it, is in P11. And clearly cannot do much right now in terms of battling with Statesneys. I think he's just going to let him by. And Satvik ready in P6 side by side with Vipul. And he is being slightly... Oh, never mind. Satvik Reddy is up a position. There was Gearshift Guru outside with Vipul. And Gearshift Guru is up a position. And Vipul, I mean, I don't know what's going on. Has his car lost engine power? Or what is happening? Because he's going so slowly.
We're going to have a look at that. But importantly, top 3 still remain in the same order as on safety. We've got a caution in Sector 2. Caution in Sector 2. I believe that's the McLaren of Mrs. Singh, who has spun out as we look on board right now. So really not a good race for him, which was going well earlier. Now we're on board with Nirvana, who's on the back of ABD. ABD really hoping he can get some sort of miracle to happen so that he can somehow salvage whatever he can from the race. We've got 12 laps left till the checkered flag drop, ladies and gentlemen. One of the biggest gainers from this safety car, multiple safety cars have happened this race. Okay, a little bit of action down there. Mercedes, Williams and Nirvana just behind. Will we see an overtake down the straight? And we look onto Jose Hero, who is trying to make a move around LFA. And that is a move made. Vicious in the lead by a second. Will Jose Hero, with his amazing skills of driving his pace, be able to make a move for the lead as he begins to now count down the time? Caution in Sector 2 once again. I believe that's E-Dog, who has gone off into the grass. He's lost quite a bit of position. Gearshift Guru up into 5th. Around Cops, that's a really good move. Really good racecraft shown from him as well. Satvik Reddy up into 4th. Jose Hero 7 tenths behind our leader as we go on board the Aston Martin right now, and he's spun out there. Fury has spun out. He's going to be dropping all the way to the back of the pack, but ahead of Ace Scoop, definitely was still 1.5 minutes behind Mr. Singh, who himself has spun out. We go on board Steel Sneeze right now. We've got 2 Williams, 5th and 6th, possibly the best placed team right now, getting a lot of benefit from the position. And stewards have said that DRS is enabled this lap, so we might see a little bit of move. Okay, we've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. What could that be, Simply?
That was Big B spinning out of G-Sol very momentarily there on the final corner. He has recovered his P10. His tires will be slightly hot, but yeah, he's going to drop back down in temperature soon enough. And I don't think you can drop back down over here, Vicious, because you are in the lead of the race. There is Jose Hero behind you with the DRS. Jose's made a bit of a mistake, but he has managed to keep it on track. Not picking up any warnings, that's also a main thing, of course, because you do not want to add any sort of penalties on you, especially when you're this close to the cars around you. You have Wizard of Oz, who is right behind ABD28, following him, using the bit of DRS to keep up with him. Although, yeah, that definitely is maybe a move coming up. ABD. That's on the outside. That definitely will be a warning for Wizard of Oz. I think he will be making this move past APD. How long can APD keep up for? Not for long. He definitely has to be hoping for a safety car because he is missing that end plate, remember, and a little bit of contact there as Wizard of Oz pulls off to the outside. 3 wide momentarily, as so does Nirvana. Nirvana actually sending it past 2 cars. Wizard almost gets pushed off the track, and Nirvana, in a very weird fashion, just gets past two cars like that. Had no patience. Gear shift Guru going into the pits and serving his penalty, and I'm pretty sure he's changing his wing as well because his end plate was also missing. And yeah, he is going to be tasked for sure as whenever he does come. Of course, not behind Ace Scoop, but behind Whipple rather. There's spun out Mr. Singh once again. Clearly, those styles are too hot to handle for him. As we can see, Jose Hero and Vicious side by side. RG Parji there. Tire contact between each other. Vicious on the inside sends it and gets past Jose Hero, but Jose is not a driver to give up. He really wants this win, especially sitting in Hamilton's car, his idol's car. He is ahead, but I don't think that was the right move because now Vicious will get the DRS as they are approaching Magnussen Beckett very shortly here. I think this is going to be a battle that will keep on going until the end. Hopefully no safety cars because this is very spicy. DRS on Vicious now has the slipstream, doesn't need to use the ERS because as long as he keeps up with Jose, he will be catching up with the slipstream as well. And you can see how much he gained through there. Almost all of the gap was covered. Only if the straight was any longer, and so will LFA hope for that because Satvik Reddy has just gone past him around the outside, and yeah, well, his car is also very dirty, so clearly he's been off track a couple times. LFA has pulled off into the pits, clearly seeing that his race is not going well. I think Hail Mary strategy would be to go on to the source from here until the end.
Absolutely, that was a... Okay, we've got a Ferrari. That's off the track. That's Mist, who has spun off. And he's going to try and get back on track and try and salvage whatever he can win the race. We've got a 4 yellow flag in sector 3. Will that be any more penalties? Hopefully not, as we've got Vicious behind with DRS behind Jose Hero. Can he make this move stick? Even if he doesn't, he's got cops to do it. And both drivers with amazing racecraft, great skill, they won't let go of a single position. This is getting exciting and absolutely raising my heart rate to the absolute limit. I think commentary is going to be a workout for me soon enough. The higher the heart rate.
Yeah, I think it'll be a long while before it's considered a sport. But hey, I mean, if you're burning calories doing it, great stuff. Continue doing it. Vicious though is once again much closer actually to Jose Hero. Is using the ERS now, has the DRS, has the slipstream down the inside. Makes a move and is up into P1 once again. These guys are actually not losing a lot of time on the Satvik Reddy. He's just keeping a keen eye on all of this. Jose Hero hasn't looked down the inside, but of course, keeping it clean does not go for it. Why bother risking, any sort of move when you know you can get the DRS and get past? We can see Big B getting double overtaken by Fury and E-Dog over here, and he just has to watch on as he's pretty much out of the ERS. So clearly, he is not saving up any ERS for whatever reason. Could have stayed on the line there, but he's gone onto the inside and has lost a bit of time, of course, because he's being on the wrong line. And that is Fury and E-Dog who are fighting it away for P9. Jose Hero has spun! I believe he has spun! He's down into P4. Tires boiling at this point. You can cook an egg on them for all you care about. And that is his race. Gone from good to bad. Vicious in P1, Satvik Reddy in P2. That 5 seconds may be removed from him, so let's not decide anything just yet. Steel Sneeze in P3, Jose in P4, and that is Nirvana fighting it out with Vicious teammate over here in P5. Gear Shift Guru picks up the fastest lap of the race. I believe he is on the soft, so that's why he's gotten that. Wizard of Oz picking up a 3-second time penalty as well. So Nirvana provisionally up into P5. So that is a long day for the Red Bull guys for sure. I mean, PK is out in Nirvana with 3 seconds. That is not going well for them.
Absolutely not. And I think ABD will be shaking his head through that as we watch a little bit of action with Path and ABD. As I was talking about him, he's got the DRS, he's got all the clean air ahead of him, and he makes that move stick. ABD down to P8. And he's also got another 5-second penalty to serve. Interesting to see how he plays that as we look on board. Visitor Falls with 3-second penalty, who's on the back of Nirvana. A little bit of difference between them, about 8 tenths, as we can see right now. Can make the move stick? Because remember, he's got to get 3 seconds to that. Can he make a gap? can he move up another position? Because every position he moves up, he's essentially adding more points to his team's tally, as his teammate Vicious is in first place and leading this race. Absolutely, we're going on board. Fury behind E-Dog currently. Very close. I believe he will get DRS this time around. But no DRS. I believe he was out of the DRS range in the direction zone. Cuts a little bit of grass there. I guess he was feeling like a lawnmower for quite some time. So a little bit of grass cutting for the Aston Martin there as they go round here. Next up, they have got Cops. Can they make an overtake round? Outside round, the inside will be very interesting to see there.
Yep, as we go to package then, Wizard of Oz will have the DRS, which is battling. Certainly not helping with this 3-second time penalty on top of it. He will be getting past quite easily from Nirvana, but then he'll still also get pushed down position for exactly the same reason, being the 3-second penalty. So I think it is time now that Wizard stops playing these kind of games and just push, and then does whatever he can push his and play that 3-second gap with some coming up, because otherwise it will be a hard fight to follow for him, because P5 and P6 you'll be like, it's only one position, but remember at the end of the day you're also playing for the constructors here, and then moving down a position will cause you to lose up some very, very valuable points, and those very, very valuable points at the end of all of it could be the difference between winning the WCC and not.
Absolutely. As someone who's been watching F1 and has looked at quite a few close battles, 2010, 11 and 12, a few points, one position matters quite a lot, especially if you were watching back when it was the old point system. As we go on board right now, we go on board Fury, who's behind E-Dog in 10th place on the hards. They're both on 9-lap-old tires. The Alfa Romeo on the mediums. A little bit more of grass cutting there. We're glad to see that one of his hobbies in real life, because he's using his Aston Martin as a grass cutter. As he goes through there, gets a great exit through Cops, and he is closer provisionally than he was earlier. As we go through Nuggets and Beckett's right now. Caution sector 2, Wizard of Oz. Has Wizard of Oz gone off? Or has, I believe Wizard of Oz has been disconnected. Correct me if I'm wrong, Simply.
He's retired from this race, so that is the end of it for him. And yeah, it is all down to Vicious now to try and secure up that win. That is one hell of a race it has been so far. Luckily the VSC has given us a little bit of a time to have and catch our breath backs, because that was ooh, I don't know what to say, man, to be honest, because it's just not an ideal race for the AlphaTauri guys. Not everyone's had the best race over here, to be honest, and I think a lot more will be coming with the final few laps. We have about 5 laps remaining in this race. A few drivers are going onto the softs to try and snatch away the fastest lap, of course, so that I believe it was Big B? Oh no, it was Gearshift Kuru who had the fastest lap. Mr. Singh getting a drive-through for speeding under the VSC. That is just adding salt to his wounds, which has been his race. And just an unfortunate day for him. Aces Scoop also picking up a 3-second penalty. Once again, adding salt to wounds. I think all Vicious has to do now is just finish the race, come up to the end, and I think it is what it is. I think it'll be in their best interest to not fight. And
Absolutely. And I believe we are under green flag conditions right now. There was a virtual safety car through there. The ones who will be a bit disappointed will be the ones who have had their penalties, so their gap has been cut down. But Satvik Reddy, Nirvana's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Satvik Reddy has got a 2.4 second gap ahead of Steve Snee, so he's still onto that podium. Just about, if you can get the gap a little bit more. He'll be up to second as we go on board the Haas. For path 11, he's got a 5-second penalty as well. I believe he's not served, but he is up in 5th place, and I think that is his place to keep. It is not his place to keep, because right now with the penalties he's got, he'll be dropped down into 6th, I believe, and every point matters, as Simply said. We're on board Fury right now, who's behind Gearshift Guru, who's fallen all the way to 11th in this race. Earlier in this race, we were applauding him for his on-track moves, his clean racecraft, his driving ability, but he's now down into 11th and out of the points, all the way from the podium places. As we go on board, the Aston Martins running in 12th and 13th. Mr. Singh has got another 3-second, that's just a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And we've got multiple penalties this race, which is exceeding my memory, capacity. So pardon me for any mistakes I make through that.
Yeah, no worries, Abhi. Fury and Gearshift Guru going side by side. I mean, Fury just pit a lap ago for softs. He was trying to take the fastest lap. You know, Gearshift Guru's like, you know what? You're not gonna have it. I'm gonna fight you for it, and I'm gonna keep it. Clearly, that has hindered Fury's attempt at the fastest lap. So maybe he can go the lap after. E-Dog and ABD. Almost. Some collision there between E-Dog and ABD. E-Dog having to go off onto the gravel there, and I'm pretty sure a few drivers will be unhappy because this is not the first time ABD has done it. There have been a lot of occurrences where ABD did push a few drivers off here and there. Might be on the edge of legality, might not be. We'll leave it up to the servers to decide. Meanwhile, clearly ABD, E-Dog and Mist, they're all wanting to get something out of this race. Mist is, I think, actually... oh no, who's that? That's Mr. Singh. Okay, that's just ABD and E-Dog then, who will be the final few guys fighting. Actually, let me shift our focus slightly while this battle does happen. Satwik and Vicious are closing up onto each other. ABD gets passed down the inside by E-Dog. And yeah, he clearly is still managing that damage. And yeah, when I mean it's one bad race and everything he can't get away because he's still doing well within the points. And even now with the 5-second penalty, he will be finishing far ahead of this. So not a big deal. Aces to grid tires with just 3 laps to go. And there's a safety car that is completely out of the ordinary here. They do have a slight chance that they can go on to softs. Satwik Reddy, he has gone on to softs. Big B getting a drive-through. What is happening, Big B? That is not what you want because he'll be having to serve the drive-through as soon as the safety car restarts, and he will be far last. He was in P13, but now he could be somewhere around Whipple. Whipple picking up a 3-second time penalty. E-Dog is slowly going in. Some drivers have decided to take the gamble of going on to softs. Others have not. Yeah, let's have the tire graphic that we can see. Yeah, so Vicious has stayed out for 18 laps on those hards. He's really pushed that tire, and it is definitely at the end of its life. Whereas Steel Sneeze will have slightly fresher tires, of course, because they're only 13 laps over. Gearshift Guru 5-second penalty while going into the pits. Parth up into P3 there with ABD in P4, Satwik in P5. And yeah, you can just see a line of drivers on the softs who have just now pit for the softs, will be catching up to the safety car and will be hoping they can put something out. Satwik has cleared off his penalty, and so if things go right for him in the next couple of laps, he could possibly be up there trying to battle out of the Vicious, because Vicious, I'm pretty sure, has to rely heavily on the drivers behind fighting him, because I'm guaranteeing that his tires are dead.
Absolutely, but I believe he has been managing his tires because the gap was coming down and the driver in second place was pushing to the absolute limit. So we do not know how much he has been managing his tires, but given his ability, there is a safety car is in this lap. We will get 2 laps of racing, ladies and gentlemen, not a 1-lap shootout. The top 4 with 10 plus lap old tires, the leader on 18 lap old tires, all the way from 5th through 8th, we have got softs with only a few that are used. We've got ABD on the medium, 13 lap old, Path in 3rd in the hards on hards. But Satwik Reddy is on softs. Lot of movement down there. Satwik Reddy's got a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flag. The grid is bunched up. When will Vicious restart this race? And I believe he's still not restarted. If you can get the graphic of his ERS and speeds there.
Yeah, he's not restarted. He knows he has to catch them off guard completely, because if he restarted where he did earlier, I mean, Steel Sneeze would be right there behind him. He's still going slowly. He has restarted now, but that's not the best place to restart now. That is it, because he's not created a gap at all. Steel Sneeze is right there, 2/10 away. Satvik ready, as well as the cars behind him will be punching straight on. I think Satvik might be able to remove those 5 seconds if they were gotten unfairly, because Mr. Singh was going slightly slow there, so I think he will be able to get rid of them. He's gotten rid of ABD though on track. He's gone past him. ABD trying for a switch back, but no competition for the soft scripts. He's up into P4, and next up is the car of Parth, who's on 14 lap old hearts. Parth will be doing whatever he can to stay up there, because he's not had the best of luck in the last couple of seasons here, and if he can get a podium now, he will be delighted with it. Of course, he's trying to push as much as he can. Only 3/10 separating the two of them, a 10 separating Steel Sneeze and Vicious here. Vicious on the inside of Cops, defending from Steel Sneeze, trying to do the best that he can to stay ahead. But Steel Sneeze, unfortunately, well, he's not leaving Vicious's tail, so it is unfortunate for Vicious as they continue on to Hanger Straight. The lap is pretty much over already. Parth, Jose, Hero and Satvik 3 wide on the Hanger Straight, and Jose staying ahead of Parth as well as Satvik ready. Caution in second sector, that is missing once again. And we know now that might be LFA actually. We can see though, however, that Jose Hero is, as well as Parth, they're actually defending. Satvik is not too far away from the guys. Can we go back to the interval and instead of the leader? That is Steel Sneeze. Vicious is right there. So these guys have already caught up to the leader here. Vicious not being able to hold these guys up. Koushik Guru once again taking the fastest lap of the race. Jose Hero having a look down the inside, and he sends it on both of them. Slight contact there. Can he keep the position? Yes, he can. That is 5 cars all fighting it out. That is Vicious pushing Jose off the track. 4 cars, 3 wide right behind Vicious, all going into this corner. Jose gets spun around. He's out of contention. Satvik, who's off track completely in P3 right now, might have picked up a 1. Extreme Sneeze and Vicious have to go side by side. They're making a roadblock for Satvik ready. Otherwise, he will be lapping away the win, at least on track. And if his 5 seconds get removed, well, that is his 5 seconds getting removed, and he will keep the position. That is Steve Sneeze, who was almost having contact with the Satvik ready. He almost got spun out, but luckily they still continue, and DRS is not enabled, so this is all down to battery power. Have they saved any battery pack? Because if they have, they might live to see the checkered flag in P1. If not, it might be over. They're all dumping the ERS all out. Vicious is giving the slipstream to Satvik over here to keep Steel Sneeze here. Steel Sneeze having slight contact. That is Satvik then getting past on the inside. Satvik having the look down the inside of Vicious, but not making that move. He has one final corner to go. Side by side, get Satvik ready, get past Vicious and take the win. Yes, he does on track. He gets P1, although Vicious, thanks to the penalty, is of course P1, the Street Sneeze P2, E-Dog in P3, Fury P4, LFA P5, Miss P6, Satvik is in P7, but might get that 5 seconds removed. ABD in P8, Nirvana P9, Jose P10, Pass P11, going for a P3, not a good ending for him there. Keshav Guru P12, Vipul P13, Big B will be getting a massive penalty for not serving that drive through, and Mr. Singh in P15, and what a final 2 laps those were. I mean, oof, I am completely out of words and completely out of breath. I think Abhi, you need to take over for a second.
Absolutely. Vicious, an amazing race form from him, and he drove like a madman. That's all I can say. It was truly one of a kind. The action we saw through that race, multiple safety cars, multiple overtakes, and one of the Mercedes getting spun around horribly and absolutely getting their race ruined. We saw 4 cars on a straight, 4 cars on the Wellington straight. That was intense. We did not know which car would come out ahead of each other. All I can say is this race has certainly got my heart racing, and it was just as action-packed, if not more, as the last one. And I'm sure our viewers have absolutely loved it. This race is just, I can't put it into words how exciting the last 2 laps were. The last 2 laps with the entire race worth of overtakes and racing that we've seen. So overall, that was an amazing race, and I don't have words anymore. I've run out of vocabulary and
Yeah.
apparently out of heartbeats. Although I wasn't commentating, you were. So I'd suggest have a drink of water if you've not had that already. Amazing work from Simply. He's coped much better than I could have then.
Well, thank you so much for the compliments there, Abhi. But yeah, we are getting our drivers in for the podium interviews, and you genuinely did the best that you can to sum up the race. And yeah, that was one hell of the race. I mean, on the first lap itself, we begun with a safety car because of BK19 retiring, and then it just went on to be, uh, you know, a very unexpected race with multiple twists and multiple turns. If DTS was covering this, I think this would take up the whole season in itself because of every single thing that happened. I mean, you know how DTS are, they love dramatizing this stuff. Considering how much drama we already got, they'd have like 4 seasons worth of content to be fed just from this one race. And yeah, I think Steve Sneeze may or may not be here. So let's just get started with the driver in P3, which I believe was EP or E-Dog. Hello, how was your race? I mean, that was chaotic as hell. A lot of things happened, and yeah, I mean, you almost got caught up in one of those collisions there in the middle, if you remember, where there were like 3 cars involved. So, what are your thoughts on what happened in this race?
Well, considering I need to take a shower now after sweating this whole race, it was crazy. Like right from the sprint, unfortunate issue, even in the OSQ, that was I lost concentration. I didn't look at the white line. But all in all, coming to the main race, that was chaotic as hell. I got spun by someone I don't know, and considering Silverstone is my favorite track, I always hope to get a good result, and finally today that has happened. Yes, that mix up between 3 4 cars, I was thought like I was going to go into one of them. I literally nearly closed my eyes and just said pray to the Lord, like let's see what happens. And thankfully they ghosted, and I went around them, and yep. And unfortunately, my partner, my teammate, got a 5 second penalty, and I had to replace him on the podium tonight. So, but good points for the team, and that's what matters the most.
Yeah, that is exactly what matters. Great points grabbed from you guys. Of course, that penalty could also be removed because I do think there was a little bit of a dodgy moment there with the lapped car as well as with your teammates. So let's just take these results as provisional for now. Still,
Yes.
regardless of where you end up, even with his penalty removed, it is still going to be a very good bag of points for you guys. So great stuff.
Thank you so much.
Abby, do you want to take it away with wishes?
Absolutely. So vicious, an amazing race for you. That was up and down and up and down. So coming home to take the win at one of the most legendary tracks on the Formula One calendar, the home of Formula One, if I shall say. How does it feel to be on the top step of the podium and winning this race, especially after the chaos that's ensued?
Uh, to be honest, I didn't even think that I'll finish on the podium with the drive-through I got on lap one itself because of my mistake. I didn't watch the delta, and it was negative, and because of that, I got a drive-through, which pushed me back to the last. And then I was like, I'll just do damage limitations. But as the race unfolded, and thanks to Moto and Inc, who were in the VC race engineering, they helped me and they gave me the right strategy, which unfolded at the end, and I got the win. So it was a very good race and some lovely battles with Steel Sneeze and Satvik, and also Jose.
Great to know that your GP and Bono have helped you along the way. And it was amazing seeing you battling all the way to the finish line. And can I say that you fought those 2 laps like an absolute gallant warrior on his last breath? So, all my compliments for that amazing defense through the end, despite being on much older tires. So, great race from you there. And what do you think about the next race? What do you want to do further? Take fastest lap as well, along with the win? What do you think?
Of course, I'll like to take the fastest lap with the win and qualifying in P1. That's what everyone wants. I'll try my best and not make the rookie mistake which I did in this race, and try to win it on track without any mistakes. And yeah, that's all.
So, Vicious, what are your plans for the rest of the season then? Because Wizard obviously retiring didn't help you guys as well in terms of the overall points. So, I think maybe you guys need to. Are you guys gonna work on a little bit with each other in terms of the race practice so that mistakes are made less often? Because of course, you just collecting up the points, will not help you guys win the WCC.
No, you're right in that, but yeah, it's okay. Mistakes do happen sometimes, and as you know, that first race I missed, he got the points. He came on the podium, got the points for the team. Then Baku unfortunately got cancelled, so let's not talk about it. And then this race, I got the points, and unfortunately he retired. And now we'll be planning to finish together on the podium from further on and get the constructors as well as the WDC.
All right, fair enough. Best of luck for that, and hopefully we can see the both of you on podium the next week around. All right, then, guys, thank you so much for watching. That was an absolute pleasure to commentate over such a dramatic race, and well, fortunately for you guys, the drama isn't done. We do have Tier 1 coming up at 8 p.m. tonight. Of course, Indian Standard Time, that is. And yeah, the Tier 1 boys, the fastest drivers on the F1 game in India, will be fighting it out between each other. Let's see what, what will happen in there. Perhaps there could be rain in the actual race rather than, rain coming after the race is finished, like how it happened in Tier 2, after the sprint race. But yeah, a lot of things that could go wrong in Tier 2 had gone wrong. But in Tier 1, where there is prize money involved and, of course, a lot of other things involved as well, well, that will be put to its test tonight. So do stay tuned, subscribe, turn on the notifications to do know when we do go live for that. Of course, like this stream, share it with your friends. And if you have enjoyed whatever you have seen so far, and if you do have F1, ACC, AC, whatever racing game, then do feel free to join our server as well. The Discord link is in the description. And yeah, do get involved, even if you're just a motorsports enthusiast. That has been it from myself, SSJ Assassin, and Abby. We'll catch you guys next week for the same Tier 2 boys. So take care. Bye bye.
Mango fruity.
Is it worth
Fresh
using
and
ABS
juicy.